Hey y'all, you are rocking with the Locked and Loaded RN. If you're new to my channel, bienvenidos. If you're one of my awesome subscribers, welcome back. Y'all, So y'all know I had my CPR class yesterday. And let me tell you what happened. First of all, I am out here working. I only have 4 patients today. I don't know what happened. I guess the reminder from the office to let the patients know I was coming didn't reach to a lot of them. So a lot of them declined visits for today or they didn't answer. Because if you try to like schedule with them the same day, a lot of them won't answer. So it is what it is. Y'all know I get paid for the same amount of visits anyway. But I'm going to try to squeeze them in tomorrow. In any case, y'all know I had my CPR class yesterday. And if you're thinking to become a CPR instructor, let me tell you what I've learned from this situation so that you don't have the same experience that I did. So I'm gonna give you the background story. A friend of mine who's a doctor, her job needed people to become CPR certified. Well, for the whole office to become CPR certified. So she quickly, of course, thought of me or referred me. I agreed. So the lady reached out to me. She said, listen, I have 20 people. I'll be happy to give you 12. No, at that time she said she had 19, I want to say. She said she wanted to give me 12 and the other person, no, I'm sorry. They had 20. So she wanted to give me 12 and the other person was going to take 8. I told her, I said, I can't take 12. The max that I'm allowed to have per my training center is 10. You have to find out with your training center what's the max that you can have, depending on who you work with. For AHA, I want to say it's 10. Some places maybe even say 6. My training center confirmed with me that they would push it and let me do 10. But 12 was out of the question. So I said, okay, no problem. Excuse me. So I reached back out to her and I said, can the person take 2 more? Because the max I could take is 10. And I said, if they even need to use my mannequin, I'll be happy to let them use it so that the class can go forward. And so she said, okay, sure. She also said, if by chance you have another instructor of your own that you would rather to work with, I would prefer that, and I would just cancel the other person because I'd rather you work with someone you're comfortable with. I said, let me see if I could find someone and I'll let you know. So I reached out to the CPR instructors that I know. They either were busy working or didn't get back to me. So I wrote her back and I said, hey, I'm not able to find someone, so I guess stay with the other person. So a while passes and she puts me in a email, like a group email with the other instructor. And so, you know, me trying to be professional, I wrote her, she put us in the group email and said, hi, this is the instructor such and such, this is instructor such and such. The group is working on the pre-course work that you assigned. Like basically let me know if you need anything else. So I reached out and I said, hi, I look forward to working with you. Just so we're on the same page, what pre-course work are they working on? And so she said, she wrote back and she straight disregarded me. No salutations, nothing. She wrote back and said, I thought I was going to be able to teach a class by myself. I was like, ooh, ooh. So then she, after a while when no one answered, she said, oh, the pre-course work is some videos that I sent them to watch. So when I looked at the bottom of her email, I realized that she was with the Red Cross. So I reached out to the client, the person that asked me to do the class, and I said, hey, just so you know, I can't work with her. She's with the Red Cross. I'm with AHA. We didn't do a cross-bridge program, so it won't be possible. She said, oh, man, okay, are you able to find somebody else? I said I could try again, but, it didn't work the last time. So I said, worst case scenario, I could teach 10 people one day and then 10 people another day or at 2 different times. She said, okay, I really want them to be all together. Great. Then she came back and said, you know what? I'm going to have you guys just do 2 separate classes in 2 different rooms at the same time. I said, okay, if that's what you prefer, not a problem. I did tell her, sorry, I have to eat some gum. I did tell her, friendly advice, it's all doctors, so I would do AHA, but it's up to you. In any case, she so a while passes where we reached Saturday. Mind you, the class was Monday. Saturday morning, I got an email saying that they found this instructor that I guess certified them 2 years ago. They found her information. She's with AHA. Can we work together? And so I said, yeah, that's fine, not a problem. So the lady comes in and she responds, because the lady said, let me know if you could do the class, to the new lady she was bringing in. If you can, I will cancel the Red Cross lady ASAP. The lady that she was trying to bring in, the other AHA lady, wrote back in caps, I will be there to do the class regardless. So I'm like, is that shade towards me or shade towards the Red Cross lady? Like, what does that mean in caps? I'll be there to do the class regardless. So I said, okay, whatever. So then she asked to talk to me on the phone. I'm getting hot because I'm getting angry just thinking about it. Then she asked to talk to me on the phone. I called her. So she started asking, who is my training center? I said, why? You don't want to tell me? I said, I don't get why I have to tell you. What does that have to do with you? I'm not running my credentials by you to get approved by you for the class. I'm already approved. I've been on this since the 10th. You just got on Saturday. So I don't need to let you know who my training center is. I'm going to try to condense this. So she moves on to say that she has a training center and I basically have to work under her own training center. And I have to work under her training center because that's how it is. And then she'll pay me like, and I said, listen, I have my own LLC. I have my own business. I already have my training center. I'm not looking for another training center. So absolutely not. The agreement was I'm going to get 10 students. I'm going to get paid for my 10 students. And whoever the other instructor is going to get paid for their 10 students. So no, I'm not working under you. We went back and forth. Then we reached the conclusion, okay, whatever. She ended up saying, you know what? My phone, I think, is going to overheat. We ended up getting to the place where she said, you know what? We normally don't do it this way, but, if that's what you want, then fine, because we're short on time. I will bring the paperwork in case you change your mind, but okay. So I'm like, great. Glad we had an understanding. All of a sudden, the day of the class, I get an email saying that someone requested a alignment for me, a training center alignment for me. So I'm like, Mind you, it doesn't say her name or her company name. It just says an alignment request has been submitted on your behalf. So I screenshot it and I put it in the group chat or the group email with the client and with the other AHA instructor. I said, I want to make sure we're on the same page for the class today. I said, we spoke on Saturday and I made it very clear that I'm not planning to work under her training center. I'm not going to work under her name. I'm going to do my paperwork for my 10 people. She's going to do her paperwork for her 10 people. I said, so now I get this email and I just want to be clear that it's not happening. Then I proceeded to call her. I said, did you submit a request on my behalf without my permission? She said, no. I hate people. I really hate people, man. So I said, okay, because it's just quite weird that I get a message about alignment and the only person I ever spoke to about alignment has been you. I said, so I just want to be clear that it's not happening. Great. The class time comes now and, we're waiting for the door to open. I see her arrive with another gentleman and I'm watching, I backed my truck in so that I could take the 77-gallon thing out my car and I put it at the door and then I turned my car around to face the door. So I'm watching her and I see she's talking and the guy's looking at me and I'm like, okay, she's hyping him up on the fact that I didn't want to align with them. Fine, I don't care. We're not in high school. I'm not moved by he said, she said. As long as what's understood, don't need to be explained. So when I come in, because it's two of them, so they're working faster, I'm by myself. So when I bring in all my stuff, I see all her paperwork is on all 20 of the desks. So I said to her, why did you put the paperwork on 20 of the desks if you're only doing it for 10? She goes, because everyone is going under me. and goes walking. Ooh. Ooh. Y'all see me post these videos every Saturday getting ready to go to church. I love God. I'm a Christian. I'm a work in progress though. God is not through with me yet. God is not through with me yet. When I tell y'all, I went off. And so she kept just trying to say it was against AHA guidelines and all of this stuff. I said, no, it's not. I don't care. This. Why would you still, after I done told you no, why would you still come around and still try to force? And so I'm going off. The client is like, the guy at the desk is like, everybody is like, ooh, she mad. And so then the lady kept saying, you're the one that's yelling. I said, yeah, I am yelling. I'm yelling because I'm mad. I was so pissed off. So then the bottom line is the client said, what can I do to, appease you and make you feel comfortable to do the class? I said, I'm doing 10 students with my paperwork through my training center. I'm not using her training center. And so she said, okay, no problem. That's what we'll do. Do y'all know that lady, I came to find out that the lady told the client that I agreed to use her training center. And so for her to pay her for 20 people, and granted, in this part, I blame the client because she should have confirmed with me, like, is that true, before she sent her my money. In any case, though, she sent me my money and then had to chop it up with her to get my portion of the money back from her, which is not my problem. Do you know that the lady still, after all of that, when the people came in, she still was like, okay, guys, fill out the paperwork on your desk. And I was like, no, 10 of y'all are going to do my paperwork. So now it's looking like a hot mess, like you're making it awkward. So, ended up 10 of them fill up my paperwork. She still goes to pass out her roster. I said, why are you passing your roster to everyone if you're only counting 10 of them? She goes, it's easier that way. I was like, okay. Mind you, my roster already had 10 people on mine. So I'm like, girl, whatever. So as far as all the paperwork, the exams, everything, I made sure that the 10 people that were on my roster submitted their stuff to me. So she still kept saying during the exam time, she kept coming over and whispering, I was going to process your cards for free. I said, the time to talk has passed. She went walking away. She came back again. The reason why I shut down on the phone is I could tell you're getting mad. And when someone is getting mad, I just shut down. I freeze. I said, well, if you get nervous and you freeze over the phone when you could tell I was getting mad, why would you come and make me mad in person? If you froze up when I was getting mad over the phone, why would you get me mad in person? Why? But that's what I learned, because I smile, and because maybe I'm small in stature, like I'm like 5'2", 130 pounds. I guess the first take of me is I could steamroll her. You can't steamroll me. I'm a nice person. I'm sweet, polite. You can't steamroll me, respectfully or disrespectfully. I don't care. You can't steamroll me. And I think that that was really the issue for her, because even when we were on the phone and we were talking on that Saturday night, she kept asking how many mannequins I had. I said, I have 6 adults, 6 infants. And she was like, 6? You're the first instructor I ever met that had so many mannequins. And I was quiet. And she was like, I only have 4. Mind you, she kept going, I own a training center. Then she said, I only have 4. Why do you have so many mannequins? I said, because I bought them. The problem is people are used to seeing you not be able to hold your own, right? The mannequins cost like $2,000. So what happens is a lot of times people do the procedure to become an instructor, but they never have the money to buy all of the equipment necessary. So they end up not teaching. So they're happy for moments like these where someone can say, hey, come on, I will, you can use my equipment and you'll get some money from a class with me. So I think that's what she was hoping would be the vibe with me. But I came with all my stuff. Like, I do this. I have a whole LLC under this. Like, I do this in real life. Then she proceeded to start saying to me, oh, yeah, my people, I paid them $40 an hour. And I said, oh, okay. Then she said, then she said, so do you normally teach with other people? So I said, no. She said, why not? I said, because normally what they offer is not anything I'm interested in. She was like, well, mine is 40. And I said, right, nothing I'm interested in. Really? People are normally excited, like all this money? I said, maybe since I'm a registered nurse, $40 doesn't move me. I don't even get out of bed for $40 an hour. And she was like, did you say you're a nurse? A registered nurse? I said, yeah. She was like, oh. Let me tell y'all, that's what I said to y'all in the other video. I don't care what people think of me. I know sometimes that when people see me, it might be like, oh, this black girl, you know, she's coming and she da-da-da. And I'm not a loud person. Like, I'm loud as far as my voice, but I'm not a person that walks around like I'm a registered nurse. I'm a this, I'm a that. I don't do that. Because, again, you're going to respect me just off of the fact of you have to respect me. I don't care what I have, what I don't have, who I am. You're going to respect me because you have to respect me. And then when we really get around to it and we start talking about who I am, what I've done in my experience, then that's when I'm going to throw that in there. So I think it was just like the nerve of me to come in, not be a training center like her, and, you know, to be forthcoming and honest with you guys. I gave the people a discount, right? Normally for a BLS research, I normally charge about $80, $85 per person. I charged them $70 because it was a big group. So basically in 3 hours, I made $700. I don't think that she was happy with that because, again, she was saying that she pays her people $40 an hour. So the guy that came with her made what, $120 that day. So that's what she wanted me to be excited about. But I know how to throw the numbers. Why would I do a job with you and get paid $120 when I could do my own contracts and make $700, $800 more in 2 hours? Listen, know your price, know your worth, and charge the tax. I gotta go. This is a long video.